Portland City Council, and really excited to be here just to say hi to you guys for a moment. You know, we've done some really exciting things over the last year thanks to the efforts of Occupy. The biggest, of course, is our effort to overturn the Supreme Court's decision on Citizens United and to end corporate personhood, to say that free speech is not money, there is no equation there, that is not correct, and that corporations are not people. Those are some key elements that were decided by the Supreme Court within the Citizens United decision. And the City of Portland, our council voted last January for a resolution saying that we need to change the Constitution in order to address this. And I'm really excited that we were able to pull that off. The council supported it, and there were a lot of doubters along the way. People were saying like, oh, this isn't going to matter. It's not going to have any effect. Like, how are you going to be able to change anything by just doing a resolution? It's just words on paper. But, something really exciting happened after that, because I got a random phone call from this group called Public Citizen, and they said, we'd like you to come down to DC in order to speak on Capitol Hill in order to really encourage Congress to act to amend our Constitution. And so I did that. I went down to DC and was on Capitol Hill, and it was the Progressive Caucus there, led by Bernie Sanders, and it was a blast. So after that, something even more exciting happened, and all of a sudden Obama, the president, said we need to amend the Constitution in order to overturn Citizens United. And so all of a sudden the President of the United States is saying the same thing that you guys were telling me only a year ago. And that's how this stuff works out really well. And so another really exciting event has occurred since then, and the Democratic Party of the United States actually took and put it into their platform for amending the Constitution to overturn Citizens United. So there's a huge movement here with polling shows like the vast majority of Americans don't I think you might just need to okay.
Say it loud and
oh, there we go. There was speakers coming out of the bomb. All right, so so the Democrats have put it into their platform nationally. We have big movement. Lots of people support amending the Constitution to overturn Citizens United, and the movement started with Occupy. There's no question about it. Those decisions, those important conversations that we were having a year ago, and we were having in all of our town squares across the country, made people realize that the Supreme Court made a very bad decision, and we need to change that. And I know that we can do it, because one of the last times we amended our Constitution, it was a similar situation where there was a voting issue that came up, because this is about voting, because Citizens United is about elections. Because if corporations are people and money is free speech, then there's unlimited amounts of money that an individual or corporation can spend in an election. That's why we have super PACs today. And so this is the big issue. And people recognize that in the Occupy movement, and that's what's led us to be where we are today. So as we continue our efforts in our grassroots movement, we need to keep this as a central part of what we're doing. Citizens United, changing the Constitution is really important. In the 1970s, the Americans changed the Constitution in order to make sure that 18-year-olds coming back from war could vote. Because before that, states decided what age you would be in order to be able to vote. And a lot of states were saying you had to be 21 in order to vote. But then all of a sudden, you have this situation where people were going off to war and coming back, and they weren't able to vote. And there was a court case that occurred. It was Mitchell versus Oregon, and there was a reaction to this court case because the Supreme Court sided with the state of Oregon, and they said that you will be able to regulate when people can vote. So 18-year-olds still couldn't vote in Oregon. And the reaction was so strong that there was actually a political movement to amend the Constitution to allow 18, 19, 20-year-olds to vote across the country. We're in a parallel track right now because, again, we have a reaction to a Supreme Court case. Again, it's a voting issue. These are the types of things that can build momentum, and there's vast majority of Americans that support this. It's like over 75% of Americans disagree with the Supreme Court's decision. So this isn't just a progressive movement. There's Tea Partiers that also disagree with how this was done. There's people from all over the spectrum that also agree that we need to amend our Constitution. So I'm really excited to be here today, only a year out, to have this movement coming this far to a point where we're going to be able to change our Constitution. But we need to have a big push from everybody, and we need to keep this central in our efforts, because without changing this, the rest of our democracy cannot be fixed. Our republic is finished, or unless we can change our Constitution. The amount of money that's going to these elections and the effect it's having on these elections is going to be very negative. We need to get the money out of our elections. We need to support our local actions. Maine has a great clean elections law. We need to strengthen that, and we need to make it better. On Monday night, David Cobb, who's the leader of Move to Amend, is going to be at Space Gallery. David Cobb is a very fiery speaker. He is from Texas, and he has been involved with the Greens on the U.S. level for a long time. He's very passionate, and you guys are going to love listening to this guy speak. He's going to be at Space Gallery from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock on Monday night. I'm going to be there. There'll probably be a bunch of other people there too. I hope to see your faces there in the crowd, so please join us for that. So thank you for having me here tonight. And